I believe everyone can make highly profitable ads, even if you're not a marketing person, even if you don't think you're creative, even if you don't think you have the design or video skills for it. Because that's me. And these ads this year so far have spent thousands of dollars and have made back tens of thousands of dollars. And I wouldn't describe myself as creative or very good with design or video. The only thing I really have is the drive to make it work, which I think is all any of us really need. Here's what I mean. The traditional way of making ads looks like this. You look at your competitor's ad library and you model what they're doing. And having spent 21 million bucks on ads, I think this is a good starting point and gets you in the motion of making ads to grow your business. But there's another way to do it on top of what you do here that can help you with making your ads profit for you faster. And in this video, I want to show you what I consider the less traditional way, but a very effective way of coming up with highly profitable ad ideas with the help of AI. Because the reality is, without strong ideas as the foundation of your ads, the execution that you do with hooks and copy and tactics mostly goes to waste. I'm of the conviction that a great idea with poor execution will usually outperform a mediocre idea with great execution. Although, of course, what we shoot for is great ideas with great execution. And related to this is this concept that we like, which is the one of the best ads aren't actually ads. Instead, the best ads are content that should be ads. This is what I tell the 30 plus brands that we work with at any given time in our program that you can find a trial to in the description below. And here's an example of what I mean by that. Let's watch this content together and let's not click the dislike button. All right, let's roll.
Ninja Creami recipes. You know we have to hit something with our new grass-fed peanut butter cup. I want to make something really nutrient dense here, so I'm also going to add in some egg yolks. And if you think that's weird, you're honestly pretty dumb because egg yolks are one of the most nutritious foods on earth and they have been used in ice cream forever. Oh my God. First, let's put some dairy, some of that whole grass-fed milk in there. That's going to give us potassium, some calcium. 1 egg yolk. Throw her in there. 2 egg yolks in there. And 3 egg yolks. Throw her in there. For the protein, I'm gonna do 3 big scoops.
All right, here's some action. Just pay attention and we'll debrief after this.
Of our peanut butter whey. 1 big scoop. That's 20 grams of protein. We're now at 40 grams of protein. And we are now at 60 grams of protein. There's organic peanut butter powder in there. It's just so delicious. I can smell it right now. I know this is gonna be fire. Let's blend this up and throw it in the Ninja Creami. We had to upgrade our game. We got a stainless steel Ninja Creami thing. Let's go. Let's pour this in there. We're talking a little over 70 grams of protein in here. Throw it in the freezer, then let's throw it in the Ninja Creami. We are back. This thing's been in the freezer. Dude, feel this. This thing's cold, bro. It's cold, man.
It's colder than your heart, bud.
Hey, man. All right, let's throw this thing in the Ninja Creami. All right, you want ice cream?
Ice cream. 100%.
Okay. Austin wants ice cream.
I definitely want ice cream, bud. Peanut butter.
Whoa. Looks crazy, dude. That is crazy. That's wild. As a scientist, what happened here?
It kind of looks like the peanut butter kind of got extracted.
There is organic peanut butter powder in our protein powder, so it looks like there was like some separation, but it looks
All right, that's good enough. Notice what consumers will naturally think when they watch this piece of content that isn't actually an ad, like it's not being run as an ad. It's not a sponsored post. There's no ad dollars being put behind this piece of content, but what's being done here makes it a great ad. Consumers will think thoughts like, where can I get that protein powder? We didn't make this piece with a focus on the product. He didn't talk about the features or the benefits of the product. He simply used the product while making content that aligns with the identity of the consumer. It's a great example of identity-based marketing. What do we mean by that? Like if we take a quick look, or a careful look rather, we can see some nuances, right? We can see stainless steel Ninja creamy container as opposed to plastic. For people who his product is made for, that is something meaningful. That is something that they identify with. Another nuance, the product itself is grass-fed. For his consumer, they care about that feature. But he's not harping on it, saying how it's the best grass-fed whey protein ever because of XYZ reason. If we scroll back a little bit, we can see he's using raw milk here. Again, very aligned with his consumer and what they identify with. Only those who would be interested in the type of product that he's selling, which is his protein powder, care for the nuance and the fact that he's using raw milk. And then later on, maybe it was earlier, he's using egg yolks. And that's something, again, that his consumer cares about. His consumer believes that egg yolks are healthy and is sort of anti-thinking that egg yolks are bad for you and bad for your cholesterol. They're very passionate about these topics and about these opinions. What he's done here is different from leading with the product. It's leading with identity instead. And I'm not necessarily saying you shouldn't have ads where you're clear about the features and the benefits and your differentiation. There's a place for those ads in your ad account where different ads serve different purposes inside your portfolio of content. But what I'm saying is if you keep an eye out in the content that you personally consume, you will start seeing content, in particular organic content just like this, that you can use as a seed of ideas for your own ads, not just relying on looking at your competitors inside of ad libraries. And I like to do this with what I call the magician method. And AI actually helps me with this. And it's based on the concept of not paying attention to what the magician is making the audience pay attention to, but rather directing your attention to what the magician is doing with their hands. You pay less attention to the trick and more attention to how they're doing the trick. So when it comes to this example over here, instead of consuming the content just as a consumer, you can look at it from the lens of breaking down what exactly they're doing to make the content compelling for the viewer to want to buy their product. And when you do this, you can see the tactics that are being executed to sell without selling, which is very effective. And here's why I think and I like borrowing ideas from organic content compared to just modeling what you see in ad libraries. And it's because organic content creators know that there's not going to be ad dollars backing their content to amplify their distribution. If the content isn't compelling, distribution is going to be capped. But with people who make ads, including myself, there's a presumption that traffic will be generated no matter what because we're putting ad dollars behind it. So there's this little energy that can be missing when you look only at the content of what advertisers are doing in their paid ads. Whereas with organic content, that energy is there. The energy of, if I don't make this good enough, and if I don't make this compelling enough, it's just not going to get seen, which makes organic content quite helpful to borrow from because they have to make it compelling for it to be seen. There's no other way for the distribution to happen. And there's a mental cue I like to encapsulate this, and that is don't make ads make content that can sell without ads. Because when you put ads behind it or add dollars behind it, it can amplify its effectiveness. Here's another example with Natalia over here. And just scrolling through, you can see it's quite organic. But you can also see, as I'm scanning through, there are certain videos where there is a product that's being featured. So let's pop open this video with 5 million views. And you can see here the contraption that's on the wall is actually one that she is selling on her store. And it sells for $900. And if we actually click in and take a look at the product and we scroll down, there's a fair amount of reviews coming through. And at that price point, it's quite meaningful. Because keep in mind, not everybody who buys leaves a review. So this current ratio of 51 reviews, although might look small relative to products that are priced at, let's say, $25, there's been a fair amount of people who have bought this. So let's take a look at what she's doing here. All right, we can stop there. What we can see is it's mostly just demonstration. And there isn't any selling happening. There isn't even a call to action. Yet people will be interested in it, such as Samir over here saying, can you please share the link for this equipment? And what's subtle here is that even though it's just demonstration, there is a level of identity marketing that's happening here at a very subtle level. If we look at the details, we can see the way that her living room looks, the styling of it. We can see what her physique looks like. We can see the skills that she has in using the product. To me, it's aspirational marketing without being too hard on the nose, where she's outright saying, hey, if you get this product and if you buy it and install it, you are going to have a home that looks like mine, and you are going to look like me, and you're going to be able to do the moves that I'm doing. She doesn't have to say any of that. And the result is they've sold a bunch of this very high AOV product. Now, where does AI come into play with all of this? In my experience, it comes into use as your investigation partner. You feed the AI the ads you have, and you have it tell you what the magician, aka the content creator, is doing. So that even if you're not a marketer, even if you're not creative, even if you can't see the things that someone who might be a marketer can point out, AI can help you do this so that you can see what's working and then cross-pollinate it over to your industry and your product. For example, with the Santa Cruz Medicinals ad, I gave it to AI, and it's done a really detailed analysis of the subtleties from a marketing level of what's going on. And it even gave me some observations that I wouldn't have picked up on my own, and even the reasons why it might be effective. An example here, nutrient density. The language used was nutrient dense, one of the most nutritious foods on earth. Signals to the viewer, we're not just making dessert, we're optimizing for nourishment. And the cultural cue, which is very nuanced. It appeals to Weston A. Price ancestral health ideas where raw dairy and egg yolks are respective for their nutrient profile. And the reason why I know this is actually a meaningful observation is because the content creator, Santa Cruz Medicinals, they've mentioned Weston A. Price as an expert they reference, who their consumer and their audience is also familiar with. Again, over here, the AI caught that stainless steel creamy cup over here. And the subtext that's being communicated is, we care about toxic load, sustainability, and avoiding plastic. It's a great observation because it's what they're doing to resonate with their audience without saying it outright and like saying the words, we are on the same page because you and I both don't like plastic. Instead, they're demonstrating it and showing that they're in the same tribe. And down here, it even gives a breakdown of why it's so compelling to their audience. And then in part 3, it's giving us some instructions on how to model this for other products. And it even gave an example of if selling an herbal tincture, doing an end of day wind down routine would be an expression of starting with the lifestyle and not the product. Another example in step 2 over here, instead of this tincture has 14 adaptogens, here's why it's better, which makes it obvious that trying to sell really hard, they say, end of day, I just want to sleep deeper and feel less wired. This combo helps, which speaks to the benefit of what people are trying to get after as consumers. Number 4 over here, we have show off your tools or process as a bonus, in that you're signaling taste, intention, and values as opposed to saying them outright, which can be a little bit too hard on the nose. And the cool thing about doing it this way is that your ads end up looking completely different from others in your industry because you're able to cross-pollinate what's working for someone else on organic in a different industry and then bringing it over to you on paid, which will allow for your consumers to naturally conclude you're different as opposed to you saying out loud why you're different. And staying on the theme of using AI to generate winning ads for you, in this next video, you can see how to build an AI agent that takes your winning ads and gives you more ideas.